Technical session number 6. Today, we're going to be going over addressing the client and working with clients, as they are the main reason we will be there. Without our clients, we do not have a job. Objectives for this particular course is to address all clients with warmth, authenticity, willingness to help them. And we'll also be able to explain how growth mindset can help perfect the art of working with clients in order to provide excellent service, and adjust how I work with clients depending on the type of client I encounter. All right. Obviously, moving from one side of the room to the other is not really something that we can do, because like nobody will know if you've moved all the way over to one side or the other. We're not gonna be able to see that, and it's not real conducive to what we're trying to do. So utilizing our reactions in there, you should be able to have a yes, which will be a green check mark, or blue, which will be, or no, which will be a red X. Can everybody give me a green check mark right now real quick? Just to confirm. It should stay up there until you turn it off. This is also a check for who's here. All right. Perfect, Luis. All right, let's go ahead and turn those off. Give me the red no. Getting there. Jordan, are you able to see it? All right, let's go ahead and clear them off our boards. So we're going to give you 5 statements. Give us a green check for true or a red X for false. Everybody ready? So Janina, go ahead and click the red X one more time, and it should go way off your screen. Just kind of like raising your hands. There we go. All right. First statement. Is this true or false? Clients typically know exactly what they need when they come to ask for help. Damn, pretty solid consensus on that one. Who wants to say why? Got to defend our answers in here.
I do.
Go for it.
Well, if they knew what they needed, they actually wouldn't be coming to you for help.
Possibly. They possibly might not know that, but I like that defense. Anybody want to add to that? Or
they are not tech savvy.
That is possible as well. They may not be tech savvy, or they may be misdiagnosing the problem.
Yeah, like in the scenario, they could be saying their computer is just busted, but maybe it's just running a bit slow because they have way too many applications or something like that.
I know exactly what I need. I need you to fix it. Pretty straightforward. Good point, Romario. Number 2, say, some people are born with a certain face and cannot keep smiling, especially to strangers. We will not mention RBF in here.
Say that one more time.
So we will not mention RBF in here. One of the greatest customer service representatives that I ever came across, she was a master at it. Always claimed that she had RBF. But for the most part, it played to the fact that she just had a very, very professional appearance. Anybody want to defend their answer? Go for it, Alan. You don't know what we're talking about? Just wing it then. No, don't worry about it. Go ahead. Anybody else want to defend their answer? Much like anything, I'll defend it then. Much like anything, it's muscles. You just got to learn to develop it. You know, the more you use it, the easier it becomes. Just like learning, you know, the ports and the steps to troubleshooting and remediating malware. It's muscle memory. You do it frequently enough, it becomes second nature. It becomes more comfortable. You're able to do that. And when I was younger, I was told I always had a very angry face and cold eyes because I have very, very blue eyes. So I was always told I had very cold eyes. So I learned to smile a little more, be a little bit more disarming with my humor. And you know what? Very few people ever said that since then.
At least not to your face.
Yeah, because then I get angry. So yeah, it's like a muscle. Anything else, like anything else, you work it, it gets stronger, it becomes more natural. So number 3, it's okay to get annoyed when a client is rude or not listening to you. This one's a tough one.
This one had a lot of debate in ours.
Yes, it did. It did have a lot of debate in our class. All right, somebody who said no. Defend your answer. Go ahead, Rienzi.
Well, it's not okay to react because you own your reaction. I mean, it's normal to perhaps feel upset when people are mistreating you, but you don't have to react in that way. You can still, control how you come across to them.
Okay, that is fair. Somebody who said yes, want to defend their answer. Mario?
Okay, so I feel as if when it comes to feelings, whether it's, getting annoyed or getting angry or stuff like that, it's not that in a given situation, these things don't bubble up, but the response to that as they bubble up, ultimately being the defining factor of that whole interaction. So that's my stance on the whole thing, on the matter. So on the one hand, the client, could be, having a bad day. Obviously, they call in the technician and everything to help diagnose and solve their problem. So it's understandable, that they're, basically they're not doing too well. But the question then becomes, just like not just for the client, but just for people in general, are we not responsible for our actions simply because we're going through something or simply because we're upset? But in my opinion, though, I can be annoyed or, upset or, have those emotions which naturally bubble up from time to time. Yet how I respond, to the fact that my problem or my emotion is there is ultimately what defines interaction.
That is very well put, Mario. I like that defense. I really do. Yep. It's okay to feel annoyed because it's going to happen. I mean, we can all admit there are people out there that it is their innate superpower to annoy other people. It's just like a gift they were given from birth and they want to share it with the world. So it's going to happen. There's people who are just going to bug you. They're going to get under your skin, but it comes down to how do you act upon that? Are you able to keep your emotions in check in order to take care of the customer and move forward with the client? Or are you going to let it just overwhelm your actions, and you're going to get to the point where you blow up at the customer. So there you go. But yeah, I mean, in the end, what people say is one thing, but I pay closer attention to people's actions rather than their words. That's just my personal judge. When I watch people, I look at, if they're telling me one thing and they're doing another, I'm looking at what they're doing rather than what they're saying, because their actions will give me a better indicator as to their true beliefs. So you're going to feel annoyed. There are customers that are going to get under your skin. They're going to annoy you. They're going to make you angry. Some may even try to insult you, and be very degrading. Now, when it gets to that point, you can call in supervisors or what have you. There are mitigating things that you can take, but don't blow up back at the customer. I guarantee the one time you do that is when a supervisor is going to be walking behind you. So be very cautious about that. Yes, Rienzi.
I just wanted to make a comment. I love how this course from the very beginning seems to really want to make us like better, more well-rounded geeks. Like, I guess it's trying to create a new generation of nerds, like, because I guess the ones that were before us were kind of like one-track minded. Like, I'm here to fix your computer. Do not smile.
Well, I mean, it was like in the early days, it was people that were just heavily geared into technology, and they didn't have that customer service background or skill set. And so that would turn a lot of people off, and it became, almost like a joke or a meme. I think Saturday Night Live did this skit for IT, where like the IT guy, every time he come up and like, to fix my computer, he's like, move, like get him out of the way so that he could get in there and fix it. And, these stereotypes or these jokes come from somewhere. It's there, but yes, you're absolutely correct. We are trying to build in these soft skills and these customer service skills into that environment so that, people come away, even if we can't solve their problem, at least they know that we did everything we could. And we try to take care of them as an individual. We empathized with their situation. So absolutely. So yes, great observation, Rienzi. I appreciate that. All right. Where were we at here? Let me see which question we were on. All right, next. There is one specific way to address all types of clients so that you are showing the best customer skills possible.
Could you repeat that, Kelly?
I absolutely can. There is one specific way to address all types of clients so that you are showing the best customer service skills possible. All right. Looks like we have a healthy debate. Who wants to defend? We've been doing the no's. Who wants to defend the true or the yes? I'm going to call on it. Let's go with Jimmy.
Yeah, so I think there's kind of with like the troubleshooting process, everyone's going to be different personally, but there's certain things that you can always apply to make sure you're delivering.
Okay. Fair. You want to add something to that, Alan?
Yeah, I used to work at a trip, and that like you want to have like the same policy on how you greet everybody. You can make it yours, but they definitely have like a guideline of how you want to go about each customer. And then you look at places like Chick-fil-A or Publix, or they kind of follow that same, well, we follow their model, but it's kind of like the same thing. Like when you say thank you at Chick-fil-A, they like my pleasure or something. It's like things like that. So it's like, certain policy things.
But are you going to handle an irate customer who's coming in who is just fuming mad, the same as somebody who comes in and is very pleasant and just going to sit down and just kind of walk through the problem with you. All right, somebody who checked no. Who wants to defend their answer? Let's hear from somebody new. Oh, Avery, you're
Kind of
wrong.
in the middle.
Go ahead, Evan.
I'm kind of in the middle because it honestly depends. You can't come at somebody the same way and come to every situation the same way. You have to kind of like adapt. So I'm kind of in the middle with the answer.
Okay. Luis?
So like you said, you just can't you know, act like so nicely to a person that's streaming mad, because a customer is gonna be like, yo, you're acting fake. Like, you have to understand from their point of view what in the world is going on. You just can't be like my pleasure or something like that. You have to be empathetic, and you know, like if they're speaking over you, you gotta let them talk first, and like cool down for like 10 seconds, and then you just speak again and address the issue, what's going on. Like, you can't treat everybody the same, because like that's gonna seem so fake. They can see through you, you know.
I can see that. I mean, would you say you would match the customer's emotional intensity to kind of show that empathy?
I mean, it really depends, because like, you know, you don't want to go over the top, because that can create some problems. So, you know, you gotta have a specific tone. You gotta be understanding. You gotta show that you're understanding. So, you know, you don't want to create a situation where, you know, there's arguments back and forth. So, you know, you just gotta let them talk first, and then, you know, talk in a very calm tone. You know, like, I understand. Just let me fix this issue, and you can ask me questions after, you know, like I'm finished, or I can answer your questions after I'm finished.
So my question to you, have you ever been in a really, really stressed out emotional state and you were trying to express that to somebody and they just were dead calm, talking in a monotone voice, and tried to just stay cool the whole way? Did that want to cool you down, or did that get you frustrated because it felt like they just weren't really understanding the position you're in?
Honestly, I worked in retail, so um you
I'm not
know,
saying which is right or wrong. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. That's, you know.
I'll say that you know, like, I talked in a way where you could connect with people. Like, you talk with them like, you know, like, you know each other. You know, you don't talk like a very soft tone, you know, like, oh, cause, you know, it seems like you don't care. You know, you gotta talk in a very like, in a, how can I say this, like, in a very family tone, in a very friendly way, you know, like, you know each other. I would be more comfortable with somebody talking in like a more understanding voice than just a calming voice, because like that would be super frustrating.
Okay. I'm just trying to
Yes
understand.
and no.
Yes, Janina.
I mean, yes and no. Like, I agree with some of the things that he's saying, but in all truthness, when somebody is really there at that, you know, point, then the most important thing would be to stay that calm and to talk to them calmly, so that maybe you can bring them back down from where they're at. I've done that before, and that makes the situation better, where you can actually do your job and help that situation. I mean, for me anyway.
Okay. Romario, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I believe that there's an appropriate and an inappropriate time to address whatever clients or whatever people, you know, in certain ways. And I believe that really how where to go, or like how we come at or go at clients, is really situational, and kind of discerning between when to use what tone, or well, not saying that we're yelling or anything like that, but discerning between, okay, when is whatever response best suited for any given scenario. That's basically, in my opinion, what kind of distinguishes us between from, being humans, being actual people and being robots, because
Okay.
if you're just on automatic in whatever given situation, and we're humans. We're humans.
Absolutely. All right. All fair points. All right, last one. Let's go ahead and clear out our checks here. All right, last one. If a client does not listen to what the employee says, the employee should just kind of move on and let the client do what they want.
Can you repeat that once again?
If the client does not listen to what you say as an IT professional, so if the client comes to you and they don't listen to what you say, you should just move on and let them do whatever they want. It's like, well, you need to do this to fix your computer. Well, I'm not going to do that. All right, well, then you do you. All right. Got a little debate in here.
I'm sorry, can you repeat? That question was confusing to me. I'm a little.
No problem. So if a client comes to you and they don't do what you say, like you're telling them like, this is how you fix your problem, and they're not doing what you say, you just kind of move on and just let them do whatever they want to do. So you got a few yeses here. Let's go ahead and take a yes. Who wants to defend their answer?
I wouldn't mind going. I say
Okay.
no, because if y'all work within the same company and a higher up finds out that you just let the situation go, it could possibly fall on you for not, I guess, for not going to them originally and saying, hey, look, this person doesn't want to listen and the system is going to crash or stop working, whatever. So I think it'll fall on you. So that's why I say no.
Okay. So appeal to authority. Yes, Alan.
I totally agree when you said appeal to authority, because it was kind of like that situation. I think you or Marvin was saying something about your coworker had a situation with a customer, and it could have all been. I think I'm confusing two stories, but he wound up recording what the customer was saying, So it's like you do want to appeal to authority, like, hey, I want to make sure, verify with you, like it's okay to end this client because they don't want to listen to our opinion. So it's like you have to. It wouldn't be wise to let them walk away, but letting your supervisor, your manager know, like, hey, there's little to nothing I can do here. Like that's probably like the best thing you could do.
Possibly, but it also could mean that you haven't developed that level of trust yet with that employee. I mean, you could be asking them to basically wipe out all their files.
I mean, it wouldn't be against the recommendation. Like, hey, I strongly recommend that you follow what I have to say because I am the professional here. But if they don't listen, you can't lead a horse. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Yeah. So kind of from what I'm seeing is Janina is talking about in an enterprise situation where you and the client work in the same organization. And from the perspective you're coming from, Alan, is like, if I do remote help desk for Apple and an Apple customer calls into me, I don't have any authority over this person. This is their device, their personal device. They don't work for the same company I do. They're just calling in for help. So we have two conflicting scenarios that we're talking about on this one. Tajma.
Okay, so I'm kind of in between, but the reason why I check, like, you could just do like let them do what they want to do.
Mhm.
Ultimately, it's their device. So,
Okay.
I mean, if you give them the information and you've done everything, like tried to build your trust, like you say, if you've done the correct steps and you've done what you felt like was efficient and went above and beyond of explaining why this person needs to wipe their files or like whatever steps they need to take. If they don't want to do that with their situation, maybe they can't wipe their files. It may be better for them to just go buy a new computer for right now and try to, I don't know, like say, or use another computer and maybe just view some files on the computer if if an application doesn't work. You never know how important it is, like someone else's. I would just say you never know how important like the item somebody else has. Like ultimately they know the best for what's in their situation. Now, if they don't need the information on the computer that much, then maybe they could just wipe it. But maybe they can't just wipe it because they need something on there, like maybe a file. So the importance of an application, maybe they could take their time out and go use another computer or go buy another.
Okay. Fair point. Fair point. Justin.
I wasn't even on mute. So in this particular situation, I would have to go back, because it's kind of my old area of expertise right here. So if you have a customer and they're not listening, ultimately, whether you're in an enterprise situation or it's an employee, this really boils down to your personal brand, who you are as a person. So, you're either going to be able to be good or be great. So in the situation of a customer, even if they're not listening, it is still our responsibility to explain the consequences of what could happen if they did not follow that. Because at the end of the day, if you let that customer go and something breaks, whose fault is it going to be? It's not going to be the customer's fault. It's going to fall right back on the company, and then it's going to fall right back on you because you was the last point of contact with that customer.
Okay.
So even if you did look at it from an authoritative perspective, I'm a supervisor. I'm going to go right back to the last person this customer talked to and say, hey, well, why didn't you talk to the customer about this? As soon as they say, oh, I did, the customer didn't listen, we're going to go over overcoming objections with the customer. Because you wasn't able to really control that conversation to the point to where the customer was able to see what was good for them, or at least understand the consequences of what could happen if they did not follow those instructions. Because you're the expert. They called you. If they knew what they was doing, they wouldn't have called in the first place. So you got to understand we're the experts when it comes to this. So that's my perspective on it. That's why I would say you definitely wouldn't just walk away without at least making several attempts at making sure the customer follow through or have a solid understanding about what the consequences could be if they did not follow through.
Okay.
Can I talk? I do understand that, but also it's an accountability type thing too. If you're calling me, you need help. If you saying no and you're not listening to what I'm saying, you obviously don't care about your device. It's part of accountability too. Like, it's not my fault. I'm not gonna beg and plead you to tell you, oh, this is what you need to do. You're calling me. I'm trying to help you. Like, no.
Yes, but there also has to be that trust there, because I mean, especially when you're dealing with personal devices where they might have personal files and stuff like that on there. It's sensitive information. You want to try to establish that trust that, the person that they're talking to has their best interests in mind. So we do want to take that into account. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess, but also it's hard to trust somebody just over a phone.
But
No
Jordan,
matter files or what, it's no, I can't. Your tone is
I
not
gotta
gonna
put
make
this
me
in there
trust you.
too, Jordan. You got to realize that you are the face of whatever company.
Right.
You're not Jordan.
Right.
So They don't know you as Jordan. They don't know you as Mr. Wakefield. They can't see you. You're representing a company at this point. As long as you at that desk or you're on the clock, you represent that company, even off the clock, to be honest with you. So you gotta, they're gonna be, I don't want to call you, Jordan. I don't want to be in this situation. So I'm already on edge because it's a great possibility that I'm about to lose something or whatever the case may be. So you have to have a level of empathy, because you got to put yourself in my shoes.
And
that's when but that's how you'll tone it
ahead.
down. That's why you won't meet them if they're at 9, you stay at 8. If they're at 8, you stay at 7. You would never meet them because, in a sense, you're the place that I need to find the help that I need, but I'm still wrapped up emotionally with the problem, and that happens. And that was, I was trying to talk about it earlier with the coworker. That was happening with that lady there. She was kind of trying to get Alex, my ex-manager, to meet her, but he wouldn't, because he knew at the end of the day she wasn't being rational. And I'm gonna leave that alone because she wasn't being rational. She was being a little more emotional, and that happens sometimes. So I don't want you to get emotional too, but you have your ground. I get what you're saying. You shouldn't have to deal with that, but you do deal with it. And that's a part of the job. You have to.
What I'm saying, though? Like, if I'm calling you, I'm going to be respectful because you're the one helping me. It also falls back on accountability. Like,
stay respectful and escalate it like Mark has mentioned, and document, because we want you to remain as an employee at place A, because that's the easiest way to get the boot.
Oh yeah, see, I'm just going off the situation. I'm not gonna be fake. That's one thing I'm not. So I'm just telling you where I would be right now and what I would do now. Now later on down the cohort, it might be different. But as of now, I'm not gonna be fake and say, oh, I would do this, and I know deep down I wouldn't do this.
Well, I'm telling you not to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though.
But let me say this one thing, because Jordan, I've had a number of employees who had the same mentality coming in like you got right now, and I definitely understand it. I get it, right? But what you're missing is everything when it comes to that telephone, and it's cookie cutter as you're making it out to be. You ever call someplace and you had to wait 45 minutes, or you got somebody on the phone, or somebody done transferred you 5 times till you get to the right department? Your mentality going in that call is not the same calm, collective Jordan that it was when you initially picked up that phone.
That's facts.
It's true.
You see what I'm saying? But that person you got to don't know that. And now they have to deal with all of the set of emotions that's coming behind the past that they had no part of. So you're that person now that's going to be dealing with that set of emotions. So you have to understand that that's a possibility and treat every situation like that has already happened. And it really goes back, like I said, it's personal branding. I told my team, I don't care what company you work for after you leave this team right here, this is your personal brand, because if you start freelancing for tech stuff, right, and you decide to open up your own business, you don't want nobody leaving Google reviews on Jordan saying, man, you know what, I had to deal with it. I had a call with this guy, he left me hanging on my product. And you might not have done that, but because the situation wasn't resolved, they was dissatisfied as a customer, it falls back on your brand, it falls back on your business. So again, you don't have to go about being fake or anything like that, because you can still explain to the customer what's going on, what could happen if they don't follow through, and then set up a follow-up call. Even if I wasn't able to resolve your issue, but I know you're not following instructions, I'll go ahead and tell you from the jump, okay, listen, this is what I'm gonna do. I wanna make sure that you get everything taken care of. So even if you don't follow these instructions, I'm gonna call you back tomorrow just to make sure everything worked out. Because if everything didn't, now you got me back on the phone and you can't say I abandoned you. You can't say nothing about my brand, my business. So
you rubbing your hands together like Birdman, like I got them.
Correct.
Now you got to pay me $149.99.
Correct. You know what I'm saying? So it really falls back on, you got to let go of that emotional tie and understand, like, you're the expert. This is what I do. Yes, they called you. So if they don't want to listen, okay, you're going to have a bunch of people who don't listen. But you have to be that expert to say, this is what I do. Because if you was in their field of expertise, you wouldn't want them to leave you hanging. If you was buying a house and they was a realtor, you wouldn't want them to leave you halfway through the paperwork. And trust me, that paperwork gets thick, baby. So
Justin, I agree with what you're saying, but I think the thing was, like, when you get a customer that doesn't do what you recommend, you know, that's the whole thing. Like, is it okay to like let them go, or they don't trust you? That's the whole idea behind it. So I'm like, you know how like people are like the whole mask mandate thing. People is like, it's what the CDC recommends, but not everybody follows it. Like, hey, we strongly recommend this, but it's ultimately up to you as the customer to make this decision or not. So if it's like, if the customer doesn't want to make the decision, you a follow-up call would be nice, but you kind of told them at it like, hey, your computer might crash or XYZ might happen. So you kind of got to let it walk away at a certain point. Like, you made a lot of good points, but ultimately, if the customer doesn't want to do what you want to do, you have to let them walk away, dissatisfied or satisfied.
But how do you alleviate the responsibility of the customer?
It's the same thing. Like, that's what doctors do. If doctors be like, hey, if you don't start working out or going to the gym, you might have a stroke or something. And if you had that stroke, the doctor told you what was going to happen. You didn't take the proper steps to fix it. It's all about how you like. I feel that you want to protect your.
All right. So when you are addressing a customer, when you meet up with them, when you meet them for the first time, be it in person or through a virtual situation, they give an acronym that is very quick and easy to follow. Anybody who has spent any length of time in customer service is probably very familiar with this particular acronym called SPOT. When you meet someone, you smile as if they are a friend of yours. And even if you're talking over the phone and they can't see you, smiling changes the pitch of your voice. You can hear it over the phone when somebody's smiling. You actually can. Present yourself. Hi, my name is Kelly. I'm here to help you. You know, something along those lines, maybe not as like sarcastic as that, I guess. You know, you would present yourself to the customer, offer to help the client, and try to fix the client first. If they're in an emotional state, like if they are visibly irritated, try to de-escalate that problem first before you get into the actual troubleshooting of the device. It will make things go a lot smoother if you're able to do it. Sometimes letting them vent for about 30 seconds can save you 5 minutes on the back end of that phone call. And then when you're done, thank the client, because they're the reason we're here. Their inability to open a PDF gives us a job. And we're there to help educate them. Or fix the problem if it's viruses or malware or stuff like that. So, next. All right. Address the client, step 1 and 2. Smile, welcome your clients as if they're friends, and present yourself. We just talked about this here real quick.
Hey, Kelly, I'd like to add real quick.
Absolutely.
You can tell when somebody is smiling without even looking at their face. If you're talking to someone over the phone, you can tell through their inflections that they are smiling. Marvin doesn't have his camera on, but you know he's smiling when he's talking to this class, right? Always. Like I can just hear it in his voice. Like I see him smiling. So it's important to, even though if you are not being recorded or they don't see your face, having that smile, it'll come across. I guarantee you it'll come across.
All right, we're going to move through that real quick. just because we're a little short on time. We're down to about a minute, and then Marvin and myself. We'll just go ahead and ask this one question, then we'll kind of finish up when we get back, because Marvin, Avery, and I need to make it to a meeting real fast. Why is it important to treat the clients well and make them feel special? Go ahead, Luis.
Because you're gonna get customer feedback. It's always on your report, and you know, you want a positive rating, because if you have more positive ratings on your reservoir or on or your experience, I guess, it's gonna be good for you, because a lot of companies are gonna see your report, and you're gonna have more opportunities. Also, you're gonna have the opportunity to get promoted, and you know, that's good. So the more positive reviews you get, the more customers you have, and the much better opportunities you get in the company.
Excellent. I like it. Rienzi.
Because of what you said earlier, a few seconds ago, that pretty much if they didn't have a problem, there would be no need for us. They're kind of like our bread and butter. I hate to be so utilitarian, but if they don't have issues, there's no reason for us.
Well, that's the market. It is the free and open exchange of ideas and or products. They don't have to come to us. They can go to someone else. So if we give them the best experience, they will come to us. So yes, Alan.
I was gonna say kind of like what you just said. Like, you want them to come to us. You want to recommend us. You know, want to treat them with respect.
Absolutely. It is our job when customers come to us to make sure that we treat them special, like they are a beautiful or unique snowflake, and that they're the absolute most important thing in our world for the time they are with us, so that we can help solve that problem, and they walk away feeling like they got the absolute gold-plated treatment. With that, I'm gonna.
What are some